Kathleen McNamee is with us. Kathleen, good morning to you.
Morning, guys.
Emma has arrived in her Ireland jersey today, which means that...
everyone's off to Tala.
Exactly. There's just a bit of excitement. This is...
Just a little bit.
This is proper. 7 o'clock kickoff. It's on the telly. Winning in, basically.
Basically, yeah. I woke up on Monday with a pit in my stomach, and just all week it is getting worse and worse. I don't think I've actually ever felt this way about a match. After spending, I think it was after covering the Euros for a month and realising that we should have been there. There were so many teams that we were better than. It just made this seem all the more important and all the more pivotal to this squad, because we're not really going to get an opportunity like this, I don't think, for another while.
So just explain to anybody who is unaware of the opportunity here, right? There's basically 2 teams left who have the opportunity to get the final playoff place in this group. We're one, and our opponents tonight, Finland, are the other. What has to happen for us to get it? What has to happen for them to get it?
Basically, both sides need a win. If we get a draw tonight, it's not the worst thing in the world. We can get a win against Slovakia next week and it'll be fine, but they still have to play Sweden, so for them in particular, tonight is going to be really, really important. They had a really bad Euros. They've lost their manager in the last couple of weeks. I think it was about 5 weeks ago that she was fired because of how badly they performed. They were in a bad group, and I don't think a lot of people expected them to get out of it, but they only scored once, and that was in the first minute of their opening game, so it wasn't the best experience for them. And there's we beat them away, which wasn't expected by a lot of people. We've had some great results against Sweden as well. We have shown exactly the side that I think everyone has known has been there for a while. We just needed someone like Vera to come in and pull us together a little bit. So if we let this one go, we're going back to old habits. And
well, that's a disaster.
Yeah.
For all the progress, for all of the buzz that's around the team, for the fact that they now have crossover stars who are just known in a way that the women's football team hadn't been known up to this point. For us not to qualify, or at least not to get to the playoffs to qualify, that would be a disaster. So there's a lot riding on it. And this week they've kept being asked, which always makes me nervous, is like, are you nervous? Have you been nervous? You've got a big test tomorrow. Are you nervous about the test? I'm like... Stop making me nervous.
You're going to talk about set pieces, but the first goal is going to be massive. So if Ireland go behind, Finland, who, obviously there's a new manager in, albeit a temporary manager, they might get they effectively know if they win their last 2 games, they're there. If they get the first goal, they realise they're good enough to win this game, and I think that's what Ireland probably need to be very wary of.
Definitely, and you mentioned about the set pieces there. The majority of the goals that they score are either counter-attacks or set pieces. Now, we can benefit off the counter-attacks, especially because their full-backs like to get quite high up the pitch, and that leaves a lot of space, and that's what damaged them a lot during the Euros. Set pieces, again, have let us down in the past, and stupid mistakes in defence have let us down in the past. I think we've mostly cut those out in the last couple of games that we've played, and we've seen, Courtney Brosnan has come out leaps and bounds compared to when we were trying to qualify for the Euros. So I think we do have the capabilities to defend against it, but it's also just, we're going to have to be very well set up. Vera does prefer to set up defensively. She's not exactly the sort of player who ever sets a team up as if we're going to be playing attacking, flowing football. But yeah, that first goal is going to be crucial. But also, it's a sold-out crowd at Tala. Hopefully everyone who's bought a ticket will actually turn up, and I think that's going to be massive on the night if Ireland do go down first before getting a goal of their own. I think that's going to be the thing that actually pulls them through, because like you guys said, all week they've been around. There's been loads of grassroots clubs coming in to open training sessions to see them. There's been a lot of good feeling towards this team, and as well as people asking them, are you nervous? This is basically a final, how are you feeling? There's been a lot of that support on the other side, so I'm hoping that that's the thing that's sticking with the team more so than the...
It comes to the managers. If you look at Vera's press conference, she was very relaxed. She was cracking a few jokes, and I think that's a good sign.
Oh yeah, she's also a hard woman to read as well. I think you never really know what's actually going on in her head. And even things like, she's not afraid to say what she thinks. I mean, after the last game, she said that she wanted to play Walsh in goal and ended up with Brosnan because Walsh had a bit of a niggly injury. And the fact that she would admit that on television and after the performances that Brosnan put in, I was interested that she was so willing to say that so openly. And I was like, is this a call to the two of them to kind of say, that position is still there. It's still up for grabs. I think a lot of people would have thought that Maloney would have got the nod ahead of Brosnan in the first place anyways. So that in particular is an area I'm interested to see what she does tonight. And I'm interested to hear what she actually says about it afterwards, because you would think at this stage, as good as Megan Walsh is, like, she's one of the best goalkeepers in the WSL, and I think sometimes flies under the radar a little bit in that regard. Brosnan has earned that starting place to me, and she has proven herself over the last year that she can come on so much and that she can command a goal in a way that we just haven't really seen from Irish goalkeepers since Emma Byrne was about, good friend of the show. So yeah, that's probably one of the areas that I'm most interested to see what Vera Pauw does, because she also doesn't like changing around her team all that much unless she has to.
So, what are the relative strengths and weaknesses of Brosnan versus Megan Walsh?
I think with Walsh, she's a lot more experienced than Brosnan is. I think Brosnan has the advantage that she has been in the Ireland setup a bit longer. She has worked, you know, she's had the game, she had the Sweden game, she's had that game against Finland. She has had that Ireland experience. She's well linked up with the defenders. Walsh is probably good enough that she could slot in there and still do a good job, but I think especially when we look at how we've played in the past, certainty in that area is so important for Ireland because it has let us down at such crucial moments. And I think for me, that's kind of why Brosnan pips it slightly at this time. I don't think we should go changing a recipe when it's working for us at the moment, and when a player who is clearly come on so far and is in good form, and she's now getting that starting position at Everton as well, by the looks of things, by the look of pre-season. You know, she seems to be on a good upward trajectory, and I would just be cautious about changing that at this stage.
That's big,
communication at the back has always been
Is
something.
she a talker? Yeah. Is she like, yeah.
Well, she wasn't for a while, and that's what let us down, but she has really come on, and her positioning has come on so much with regards to her defence. I feel like she's a lot more confident now in actually telling the defenders where to go and what to do. So, yeah, I would just be hesitant about changing it at this stage. But
so much goalkeeping is literally like your defenders trusting you as opposed to what you're actually doing yourself, in my view.
Yeah, and I mean, like, Megan Walsh has an incredible record. I'm sure the defenders will trust her. They just don't have that big game experience together yet, and that's why I would be a bit hesitant.
She played in the game, Walsh played in the game against Russia in that Pinatar Cup back in February.
Yeah.
So obviously there was like a proper opportunity for the coaching ticket and the defenders to build up some trust in that like they were away in camp for a good while around that period. So we'll know an hour before kickoff. Your instinct seems to be that Courtney Brosnan's going to get the nod.
I really don't know. I think she should, but I actually don't know what Vera will do.
Okay.
Because I think that if she's willing to say in the last game that she wanted to play Walsh and she didn't, and this is such a big game, I think she might make that call.
So I'm interested in this. Like, if you look at the bookies odds tonight, Ireland are by no means overwhelming favourites, right? So at the start of the group, who was expected to finish higher, Finland or Ireland?
Finland.
So what's gone wrong?
I think Finland are on a downward trajectory, and we've very much been on an upward trajectory since the group stage started. So with Finland, they qualified for the Euros. It was quite a scrappy qualification process for them. It was last-minute goals against Portugal and Scotland that managed to get them through. There had been a lot of changes in their coaching ticket in the run-up to the Euros, and a lot of talk around there not being all that much happiness with Anne Signal, who's now gone, and that the under-17 coach has taken over as interim manager. Like, even before the Euro started, there was talk that she was going to be gone by the end of the Euros.
That has to be a worry then. So if you're going into a tournament and there's talk the players aren't happy with the manager, it doesn't even matter who the replacement is. She's gone. So there's going to be a bounce tonight, probably.
Probably, yeah. And so they're going to have...
Or they're a complete shambles at this stage, and they've just gotten somebody in-house to get them through the last few games, and they're thinking, okay, well, we're not going to the World Cup, so let's plan for the future. That, you know, big range of outcomes on the table here.
From the way they've been speaking, I don't know if that's what they're looking at. I think they feel a bit aggrieved with how their Euros went. I mean, they were in a group with Germany, Spain and Denmark, so, you know, wasn't really expected to do all that much, but they've been unfortunate as well this week in that their two main midfield players, Allen and Eggman, have both been injured. We have Niamh Fahey out, which isn't great, but it would be like losing Katie McCabe and Denise O'Sullivan, essentially.
They're their two best players that they've lost.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's specifically in midfield. So
yeah, a very specific area that we can target.
Obviously less. So I think Nifa has a groin injury. It hasn't yet to be ruled out for the.
They said they're sending her for more scans, and then they're going to see if she can play for Slovakia. Vera Pauw was kind of iffy on it. She didn't really say one way or the other.
We currently have a great relationship with Liverpool and the medical team there, so I'm sure they're like, oh, that's fine. You do what you want with her. Anyway, those two players, Allen and Engman, who are out for Finland, what can we do with Nifahi out? Like, how do we counteract that? What does our team look like basically without Fahy?
Well, I don't think Vera Pauw is going to change her shape all that much. She has been lining up beside Darren Caldwell and Louise Quinn at the back mostly. She says a back three, but generally it ends up being a bit of a back five because Vera Pauw just loves that defensive style of play.
Which is interesting. Like, you wouldn't.
Yeah, I was going to say any regular listeners to COYGIG will know Karen Duggan's issues with the general setup of the whole thing. She wants to see more Katie McCabe up front, as do a lot of people. I mean, Sue Ronan was on the show and she was saying the same thing yesterday.
So we basically play Katie McCabe left wing back.
Yeah.
I'm coming around to it. I got to say, like,
well, I think it could be interesting on a night like tonight because with Engman out, I think that's going to give Katie a lot more space again to keep going up the wings and to kind of
step into midfield, right?
Yeah, and make more of an impact, especially down that side. It was Engman who scored against us last time as well, so always good to have a player like that out. With Nifahi out, I reckon they'll either drop Megan Connolly back a bit further or else they'll put Megan Campbell in her place because she's back in the squad. It just depends on how fit she is. So she has been out for a while with injury. So
if you did a straw poll of Irish fans, where should Katie McCabe be playing? Where would they say?
Everybody's going to say number 10, right? But
so this is like an innate conservatism from Vera that like.
Well, where do you play Trent Alexander-Arnold?
Yeah,
that's what we're talking about here, isn't it?
Yeah,
like your most creative, effective assister.
Yeah, but you don't say tonight you're playing Finland, who are missing their two midfielders. You don't play Katie McCabe left wing back. I would have thought.
Well,
if she's our best player,
if João Cancelo can have the influence on the game for Man City that he has by stepping into midfield, why can't Katie McCabe step into midfield like she does, right?
Yeah, she does. Like she still does it. She basically plays two roles in every game that she's in. I think Vera's thing is that
defensive cover more so, like her.
Yeah, like she's our best. Like she's our best player, but she's also our best all-round player.
Right.
In that she can do box to box. She can get back, put in a crunching tackle, and 2 seconds later she's up the other side of the pitch scoring a goal. You know, she has the fitness for that with Arsenal. It's a bit like Denise O'Sullivan, like because they're playing at this high level, they have the fitness for that sort of all-round play.
And our set pieces tonight are going to be big.
Yes, set pieces are also going to be big, especially because we do have the likes of McCabe, like Connolly is great, Risha Littlejohn. We have a lot of players there that can take good set pieces, corners. I mean, Louise Quinn. If we go through to the playoffs on a Louise Quinn header, it'll be the perfect way to...
With the 1-0 win.
With a 1-0 win. Perfect. Probably in the 85th minute or something. Yeah. It has to be.
Not to try and create another Kevin Kilbane Nations League moment here, but the playoffs, when we get there, are relatively straightforward in that, like, we would be one of the best teams still who haven't automatically qualified, but in the playoffs?
I don't think so. I think the playoffs are going to be more difficult for us than this stage, which I keep forgetting. I get overexcited and think that we're actually qualifying for a World Cup if we win tonight, and then I'm like, no, we have to go through the playoffs because from the 9 runners up, the top 3 automatically go to the second round. Realistically, we're not going to be in the top 3. We'll probably be in the bottom 6. So we have to get through a first round match with them. And then once we do that, you'll play the top 3 that already qualified. And whatever the results are from that go into a massive table that includes all the group stage
the playoffs
matches.
Are against European teams first?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought we were automatically up against the CONCACAF and stuff. Okay.
And so then those results against the European teams go into a table that includes our results from the group stages. So like these matches aren't just important for now, they are important that if we make the playoffs, goal difference will be important.
So win tonight and win again next week, and that's like catapulting us into,
a much better place. Yeah, definitely.
It's big for the FAI as well. Like the FAI is looking for some feel-good stories. Still doesn't have a sponsor for the men's team. This is I'm going to suggest, is this going to be the most watched women's sporting event in Ireland ever, possibly?
Probably at this stage.
Which is I mean, this
if you look
everyone's
at
going to
the
watch this.
if you even look at the viewer figures for the Euros, and we weren't even in that.
Yeah.
Katie Taylor winning gold.
Field sport then.
Yeah.
Field sport, yeah.
Team
Bigger than
sports,
an
yeah.
All-Ireland Gaelic football final.
Well, we'll see tonight. Kick-off's at 7 o'clock. Hopefully everybody is sitting down, plonked in front of their telly, flags up, and jerseys on. And I think there have been times before where tickets have gone and they have been sold, and then they weren't actually sold. They were distributed as opposed to sold. So you hope that this time they have been sold, and that everybody shows up and makes a raucous atmosphere, and they get in at 6 o'clock.
Well, if you have a ticket, make sure somebody who does want to go to this game, and make her or his dream come true by actually going to the game.
Oh, I've had so many friends message me, be like, "Do you know if there's any tickets going? I can't believe it's sold out so quickly."
Yeah, so if you're not going, be a good soldier.
Stick it on Twitter. If you have a ticket, let me know, and I will make sure someone good gets it.
We will be live from Tala pre-match on OTB Sports Radio from 5:30. You're out there, or here actually, doing the pre-match, and then jumping in a taxi and heading out. What have you got for us from 5:30 tonight?
We will be talking to Nathan, who's doing commentary, and Emma Byrne, and we'll also have Olivia O'Toole. So we have two legends of the game, and Nathan himself.
Nathan, a regular in Tala, of course.
Yeah, of course.
Kids are Rovers fans.
Yeah. Are you outing him there as a Rovers fan as well? Is he?
Yeah, he's probably twixt in between a bit.
Nathan Murphy and Emma Byrne will provide live commentary on News Talk Radio from 7 o'clock this evening. And as I said, of course, Kathleen back from 5:30 on OTB Sports Radio. You just tell your smart speaker to play OTB Sports Radio, or you stick it on your app and you run it through your car system and you can get it there. You are, of course, an Arsenal fan as well. Are you also a doubting Thomas, or are you just having the crack at the moment?
I'm very much just having the crack at the moment. I agree with a lot of the stuff that Jack said, but as a long-suffering Arsenal supporter, I'm just enjoying being top of the table, actually watching the games and not feeling the same sense of dread I normally do. I think it's like Jack was saying earlier, the fact that we are actually reacting quite quickly to when we go down. That's very unusual. I'm so used to the heads dropping and just being like, well, that's that. We might as well just blow the whistle now. Nothing else is going to happen. So it is nice to feel a little bit of peace. And I know the inevitable downfall is going to probably come about November, because that's generally when it starts happening. And we'll suddenly be in 7th position, and this will all seem like a little fairy tale to me. So I'm just going to enjoy it for what it's worth.
I think on that note, your positivity about Ireland tonight is quite notable, actually. Yeah.
Give us your prediction.
You think they're going to win?
What is your actual prediction?
I went for an optimistic 3-1.
Okay, we would definitely be happy with that.
Sue Ronan was we're definitely going to win.
2-1, yeah.
Yeah.
So look,
I think a lot of people are optimistic that we can win. There's just that hesitancy to say it, and
players got to embrace the occasion.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the thing. Don't freeze. Just embrace this. Create history.
Don't be nervous. Don't be nervous. Be confident.
Don't be nervous.
Yeah. Whatever you do, don't fail. That's the spirit.
But don't be nervous.
I'm glad it's in Tala as well. I think it's it's their ground, it's their space. It's their time to take over, and I think McCabe is the best person to lead them on a night like tonight, because she doesn't seem to feel big occasions. Even when we got the draw against Sweden, she was very much like, no, it's a game. We still have a lot more to do. Whereas the rest of us were all going crazy. I mean, this is one of the best results we've ever had.
Yeah, no, definitely. And that's why she's on all the billboards. All right, Kathleen, good stuff. We'll hear more from Kathleen, as I said, around about 5:30. And again on the show tomorrow, we'll also have Emma Byrne on the show reacting to whatever happens tonight. So, you should be nervous, because there is a lot at stake. OTB AM brought to you live each morning by Gillette Labs for an effortless finish to your day. A reminder that Braeburn Coffee is the official coffee partner of OTB. Every week we give one lucky viewer a €100 voucher to spend on some Braeburn coffee goodness at an Apple Green store near you. To enter, check out @OffTheBall on Twitter, like and retweet our Braeburn competition post, and you'll be in the draw. Braeburn Coffee is Apple Green's new premium coffee brand that offers customers the best coffee experience on the road. It's available now at 30 locations nationwide. You said you were like a proud father the other day, stopping off at an Apple Green and having a Braeburn coffee, Johnny.
I'll be having a Braeburn coffee there, and it was absolutely lovely.
There you go. Always be closing, Johnny.
Ireland, who has no history whatsoever of coffee, is now a far better place to get coffee than Italy or France, basically, which is mad. That is actually true.
You've said some very outrageous things on this show before, and that's the one that I think you're going to get the most grief for. But you might be right.
That's true. No, the French are they're very conservative. We're not changing our coffee. The Italians are similar. You can't get good coffee over there. Ireland, you can get Braeburn coffee.
After the break,
Nicely done, wasn't it?
After the break, we're going to be joined in studio. That's a lifetime supply for you. Waiting outside.
And I need it.
Back up the Braeburn coffee truck. After the break, we're going to be joined in studio by the legendary Irish athlete Eamon Coughlin. First, here's Aisling O'Reilly speaking to the Ireland captain Katie McCabe in the build-up to the massive game tonight in Tala.
Katie McCabe, we're here in Tala Stadium. It's all going to be happening tomorrow night. The place is going to be rocking. It's absolutely going to be full because it's sold out. How are you feeling about that?
Yeah, no, obviously delighted with the sellout. I can't wait to obviously come here tomorrow, see the atmosphere, see the atmosphere for the game. Obviously, it's so important for us to have our fans here cheering us on, especially with such a big game. But no, I'm looking forward to it.
And for you, is it a special occasion to be leading them out? I know friends and family are going to be here. It's never been sold out before. You know, it's an iconic moment, really.
For me, every time leading the team out is a special occasion. It's such a massive honour to do that. Of course, it'll be that extra bit special with a sold out crowd, friends and family, and obviously what's at stake. So it's always special for me.
And how has it been this week? The girls are all back in camp since Sunday. I know a lot of them were playing at the weekend as well, so haven't had a lot of time together, but I suppose you've worked on things previously.
Yeah, look, obviously it's a quick turnaround from Sunday to Thursday, as it will be for Finland as well, but we've been quite concentrated coming in. We've done a lot of video work too. We've had 2 sessions. Obviously the final session will be here tonight, but yeah, fully focused, and we'll be 100% prepared for tomorrow.
You faced Finland before. It was 2-1 that night away in Helsinki. It was a brilliant result to go away with. I suppose you didn't play particularly well that night. I spoke to a few of the girls the other day, and they said, we looked at that game coming away saying we could play better than that. So I suppose the challenge that Finland possess.
Yeah, of course. Look, obviously the win away gave us that confidence, but we know Finland, they're coming off the back of a Euro tournament. They're going to have a lot of togetherness, obviously, within their team. We know, obviously, they've changed managers, but we'll see how they kind of set up tomorrow night, but we'll be fully focused and ready to do the job tomorrow.
And we just heard the news about Niamh Fahey that she's not going to feature through to an injury. That's tough for her on such a big night to not be here. How is she doing?
Look, Niamh's been a massive player for us over the last few years, and within this campaign too. She'll use her experience to rally the girls tomorrow night, and hopefully she'll be back fully fit for Tuesday's game against Slovakia.
And just on the promotion of the game, it's obviously, we talked about it being sold out. There's going to be a watch party happening in the city centre.
That's in Camden.
It's happening in Camden. You're on buses, you're on billboards. I seen you putting up an Instagram saying you're on the 77A.
I was on 77A, yeah. Do you know what? It's amazing. The work our sponsors Sky and Cadbury's have done to get this game in people's faces and get that visibility out there. And obviously with the sellout crowd tomorrow, it's going to be obviously fantastic. And we're hoping whoever has a ticket comes and watches us, or if you can't get to the game, watch it on TV, watch it at Camden, wherever it is. But just be cheering us on.